Coach, you must be pretty happy following today's victory.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew that it was a must-win coming in, and with everything going on in the conference, I'm a firm believer that everybody in our conference, given a handful of teams, can play with anybody. And I knew Lyon was going to be a good team. They always are. Mark does a wonderful job with his ladies, and they scheme very well. And frankly, I think they frustrated us a lot first half in terms of the way they're man-marking our forwards and playing really well. Weathering the storm of the wind. Was a big deal, and when I got to halftime, I said, hey, it's our turn. We took our opportunities. I would have liked to see more shooting, but when you come out 1-0 in a must-win game, that's all you can ask for.
This was the team's first win ever against Lyon. Obviously another first in program history achieved this season. What does that mean to you when you hear it?
Everything. This team is one of those teams where I knew coming in that we were going to do great things and that we were going to set a lot of program records in first. This being our first win over Lyon, having the first win over Hannibal LaGrange, a lot of best results in school history against some of the teams on the field. It speaks volumes to the progress we're making as a team and as a program. I told a lot of these girls coming in that I recruited, the sophomores and the freshmen, when you guys get here, we're going to compete for conference championships and we're going to make that conference tournament. We're going to push and turn this program around. And, being at the point now where we're 1 win away, against a tough Central Baptist team that could get us into the tournament for the first time in program history, it means everything, and I'm just so happy for the ladies that are here that bought into the dream and that are living it now.
As you alluded to earlier, you knew what the stakes were coming into this match. It was essentially win or go home. You had to win in order to stay alive for the final spot in the AMC Championship. Was that a part of the message to the team?
Oh, absolutely. We spent some time watching film yesterday to get a feel for what was successful against Lyon and how they played as a team. And I knew it was going to be a tough game, and I emphasized it, I think, in every team meeting leading up to this game, every team huddle, to get them fired up and just understand, like, hey, this is the game. And I always kind of emphasize to the girls, the next game is always the biggest game of the year. So, our next biggest game of the year is against Columbia on Tuesday. But kind of knowing that this was the game that had to be won, seeing our girls step up and continue to play well like we have been the last couple of weeks was important, and it was great to see because I know that this team can rise to the occasion.
Today was a very physical match between both teams. Looking at the first 45 minutes, how would you evaluate play, and how would you evaluate what role the wind played in the game?
Yeah, obviously when you get this this kind of weather, it can affect the game a lot, and I think that we kind of saw it, on both ends. The play was more conducted on our half, just purely out of the wind, with the wind, the first half, and then likewise it was more on their end in the second half. So I think that there's a lot that can go on with that one, and it gets frustrating as a player. I know as a defender myself, previously playing in the wind is awful. Offensively, it can be tough too, and I know that frustrations rose with a lot of the players. I think we saw Anya get another card today. Frustration because they were doing a lot of things defensively that were excellent that I've tried to push our girls to do. But the physicality was there. That game was more or less what we're going to see in a conference tournament, and frankly over our next 2 games to even get there. So it was kind of good to see our girls rise to the occasion, play through it, and play tough.
Your team weathered the storm in the first half, as you alluded to, fighting against the weather. You had the wind to your back for the final 45 minutes, and it really seemed to show in your offensive attack.
Yeah, I told the girls a lot to look at shooting. I thought Lyon's keeper played a higher line, and anytime we were getting to 40, 45 yards out, I was just yelling, shoot. It's one of those things where as an offensive player, you got to understand when that wind's at your back, especially with the gusts that we had today, you're adding 15 and 20 yards to the ball that you can play. I know that Savannah Johnson had a shot at one point that their keeper barely got hands on it and went out for a corner, and she took the shot from about 40 yards out, and it's one of those things where, I think if we're looking at that a little earlier in the half, maybe we were able to stick one in extra to get some insurance, but, we kept things up. I think the wind had a lot to do with the corner going in, although Anya put it in a dangerous place, and that's all you can ask, and, we found the back of the net, and that was what was important.
As you alluded to, in the 71st minute, Anya Castelli scored her 12th goal this season. At first, it looked like it bounced off one of your players because there was a lot of traffic in front of the net, but when you realized it was off the foot of Anya Castelli, and it went to the back of the net. Just how happy were you for her and for the team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for the team, that was a big one. Getting a goal late like that to kind of get us some, like I said, insurance in the game and keep us going forward and give us kind of the momentum was huge, obviously, for the team, so you can't speak enough about what that can do for our play. For Anya, you know, she's done a phenomenal job this year of finding the back of the net and leading our team offensively in that regard, and I know that she's one of those players that people look at as dangerous. You know, they man-marked her today, Park man-marked her, Missouri Baptist man-marked her, so it's one of those things where people are taking recognition, and you know, having a player like that in our conference on our team is something that I don't think we've had with Stevens before, and so it's important to keep her in on that one. And I know for confidence, and she said it to the game, she's like, finally it went in again. I think she'd kind of been on a little bit of a drought there, kind of assisting goals, but hadn't found the back of the net, so the jubilation that she had and the joy that the team had for her is important, and they gravitate towards her, and she's going to be dangerous for years to come. So you know, I'm really excited for her to get that net, and like I said, putting it in perspective for that one, she put the team on her back today and made it happen.
Your defense really persevered down the stretch as Lyon made an offensive push to try and find the equalizer. As alluded to before, your defense really weathered the storm despite getting outshot 12-2 in the first half. The second half was pretty even, 10-8 in shots overall. What can you say about your defensive effort, especially in that final 10 minutes, to preserve the clean sheet?
I finally found the unit in the back there that's comfortable. You know, that group with Kiana, Lex, Weems, and Macy have done a great job the last couple of games keeping you know, some really good teams at bay. And like I had mentioned before, I kind of quit messing with them, and I was just like, hey, go play your all's game and lead us to the promised land of the conference tournament. And you can't say enough about Megan's play back in the back of the net. She's you know, one of those players that we're certainly going to miss, being as versatile as she is, and I think she's a good leader back there. You know, you can't ask for somebody more vocal and intelligent in that goal right now. You know, and it's something that I think is going to be passed on to our keepers for the future. I know Kaylee's working on things too, and getting her comfortable in that regard is going to be big because, you know, I mean, Megan hasn't been our goalkeeper all this year. I think Kaylee's done a phenomenal job, but there's big shoes to fill, being that Megan did 3 years for us in net. And, you know, like I said, I think Kaylee will rise to the challenge, and you know, things are going to get better from here in that regard. But like I said, yeah, you can't put a price on that kind of defense right now, and it's coming at the right time of the year.
Megan made 10 saves in the match, and you still have her for a couple more matches, which I know you're happy. You're not ready to push her out the door just yet. But what can you say about her posting her first clean sheet of the season in such a critical game?
Yeah, you can't ask for anything else from her. You know, I came to her knowing that Kaylee was kind of in one of those injured roles right now, and I just said, Megan, I was like, I need a big one from you today. And talk about answering the call. I know she only had kind of the one big save that had to be made in the first half, and then time and time again, challenging their forwards, playing super physical, even though I know her body doesn't hold up well against those things. And then I think it was like inside 2 minutes, punching a near post shot that was going in that upper corner. You know, it gave me stopped my heart for a second anyway. You know, she makes those kinds of saves, and I knew that going to her, you know, being that she's kind of my backup this year, I had the full confidence in her stepping in. And you know, like I said, I'm hoping that I don't need to utilize her, because I'm hoping we get Kaylee back, because Megan can be a force offensively too for us. But knowing I've got her for a handful more, you know, to close out her career, this couldn't be a better thing. And you know, I'm hoping we get another win for her on Megan Day or Senior Day, and we go forward from there.
Well, before Senior Day rolls around, you have your final road match of the regular season at Columbia, a short trip. Obviously an in-town rival, so the game, you know, means more. What will this team have to focus on in the next couple of days in order to hopefully come out with a positive result against the Cougars?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to keep shape. Columbia's excellent. I mean, I the entire year have looked at them as being, you know, the team to beat in the AMC, and they've proven time and time again that that's who they are. You know, going through our motions on those kinds of things, keeping shape, you know, not diving on defense and just playing, you know, patiently and forcing them to shoot from distance is kind of the biggest thing that we're going to have to focus on doing. You know, going across the street to play them is always a fun thing in that one. And, you know, I know John Klein's got a wonderful program over there, has for years. So, you know, it's a big game there. It's nice to get a look at them this late in the season, seeing as that we're probably going to be playing them in the first round, assuming that we take care of business the rest of the way. And, if things play out the way we think that they will with the rest of the conference, getting that last spot in the conference tournament, chances are we're going to see them again shortly. So, being prepared for them and taking, it as kind of a learning opportunity as well as an opportunity to go steal some points. We've surprised a lot of teams this year with how close we've played them, and I think this is another opportunity for us to take a step forward.